Here's your wrestling news for July 8th, 2021. And your headlines for today include: Aleister Black makes AEW debut on Dynamite, Zelina Vega reacts. WWE made a major blunder during Aleister Black's release. CM Punk's UFC 225 loss against Mike Jackson overturned. Bayley says recent WWE releases have hit her hard. Fan rushes the ring at AEW Road Rager. Britt Baker takes shot at WWE's partnership with Saudi Arabia during AEW Road Rager. Relaunch of XFL is delayed. Major partner backs out. Released WWE star says he painted his face like an idiot for nothing in WWE. Former WCCW star Chris Youngblood passes away, and more. We're starting with AEW, and this week's show marked the company's return to the road, and they had a major way of welcoming fans back. During the Cody Rhodes and QT Marshall opener, the lights flickered, and during a segment later with Arn Anderson and Cody Rhodes, they cut out completely. When they turned back on, Aleister Black was in the ring and leveled Arn Anderson with a roundhouse kick before giving another kick to Cody. On commentary, Excalibur called the former NXT champion Malachi Black, a name that Black himself introduced during a truly insane video on Instagram. In that video, two doctors are seen talking about a dangerous patient, which is of course Black, and one doctor mentions how the Dutchman is engaging in fights with other patients and isn't improving. The second doctor says that Black isn't getting better even after 5 years, perhaps a reference to his 5-year stint with WWE. Ever since his release due to budget cuts, there'd been talks of him signing with AEW, as well as talks of WWE employees believing he was cut too soon. But now, Malachi Black is all elite from now on. Although there'd been rumors that Black would be signed to AEW, fans didn't expect him so soon, as he was only released on June 2nd. When a main roster WWE superstar is released, they traditionally have to wait 90 days before they can work for another promotion, and WWE haven't let Black out of his non-compete clause early. According to Dave Meltzer, the reason for Black's appearance is that instead of 90 days, the Dutchman was bound by a 30-day non-compete clause, and as a result, was able to appear on last night's edition of Dynamite. Black debuted in WWE as part of NXT, which traditionally have a 30-day clause rather than the main roster's 90 days, and PW Insider reports that WWE forgot to update Black's non-compete clause during his time with the company. This is a huge mistake on WWE's part, which has led to Black now appearing for AEW, and if WWE did ever have plans of bringing him back, they waited too long to re-sign the former NXT champion. Black's debut for AEW unsurprisingly sparked a huge reaction on social media, and his wife Zelina Vega has also commented on her husband. Vega, who returned to WWE last week, said she couldn't be prouder of Black, and we're interested to see what both do in opposing companies. Now, Jon Moxley has been out of action ever since the birth of his daughter, but it's now time for Papa Moxley to get back on the road with AEW. At next week's Night 1 of Fyter Fest, Moxley will put his IWGP US title on the line against Impact's Carl Anderson, and this will no doubt be an interesting match with 3 huge promotions being represented. After leaving wrestling in 2014, CM Punk tried his hand at UFC, having 2 fights in the company. At UFC 225, Punk lost to Mike Jackson via unanimous decision, but this week, Punk's record in the Octagon has improved. MMA Junkie reports that the result of the June 2018 fight has been overturned as Jackson tested positive for marijuana on fight night and tested positive for tetrahydrocannabinol. After testing positive, Jackson has been suspended for 3 months, and fighters were notified not to use marijuana mere weeks prior to the event. Neither Jackson nor Punk have commented on the situation at this time, and neither have fought in UFC since their fight from 3 years ago. As for Punk, he's still winless in UFC, as the result of the fight is now a no contest, but the former WWE World Champion isn't expected to compete again, having traded the Squared Circle and the Octagon for a thriving movie career. Over to SmackDown, and as Bayley continues to be a focus of the Blue brand, a lot of her friends haven't been so lucky. Instead, many of Bayley's colleagues have been released in the name of budget cuts, which has had a major toll on the role model. Speaking to the Metro UK newspaper, Bayley discussed WWE's recent releases, saying, The past few have been really hard because most of them are really good friends and so talented. It's really hard not to see certain ones in our locker room. Bayley specifically praised Tyler Breeze, who'd been with WWE since 2010, saying that he helped a ton of women's wrestlers, including herself, Eva Marie, and Sasha Banks, adding, "I owe so much to him." The former SmackDown Women's Champion insisted that Breeze and the other releases will be successful outside of WWE and is excited to see them succeed, but she and the remaining roster will have to make do without the likes of Breeze, Braun Strowman, and the Iconics when crowds return next week. Back to AEW, and Malachi Black's debut wasn't the only big event on last night's Dynamite, as a segment with Chris Jericho saw a fan storm the ring. During the show, Jericho agreed to a challenge from MJF, who said that Y2J will have to defeat 4 different opponents under 4 different stipulations just to earn another match with the young heel in what's being described as the labors of Jericho. The segment ended with Jericho signing the contract and laying out MJF with the Judas effect, but before any of this went down, a fan tried to invade the ring during Jericho's entrance, walking as if he were Y2J. That fan was quickly detained, but not before Jericho got a shot in, and AEW also cut to a black screen as security dragged the fan off. Whilst AEW didn't want fans to see this, fan footage from Road Rager shows the guy being literally dragged out of the building, and it's a good thing that security was prepared. With this being AEW's very first show back on the road, this was the last thing the company needed, and hopefully this incident will serve as a reminder to fans to never, ever, under any circumstances, jump the barricade. AEW Women's World Champion Britt Baker was also at last night's Road Rager event, and like so many stars before her, took a shot at WWE. During a promo, Baker said she wasn't happy about Rebel being injured last week, and continued her promo on Vicky Guerrero and Nyla Rose before adding, "Hey, maybe next week AEW can run in Saudi Arabia." Baker had little reason to refer to WWE's controversial relationship with Saudi Arabia, but said that the injuries Rebel received were all part of a plan for Tony Khan to bring Andrade El Idolo to AEW, calling it blood money. Baker's comment got a solid "oh" reaction from the crowd, and with AEW struggling to go a week without bringing up Vince McMahon's promotion, we'll have to see what dig the company takes during next week's Dynamite. In August last year, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson bought the XFL for $15 million after Vince McMahon couldn't get the relaunched league to work. To be fair, McMahon couldn't have predicted how 2020 would have been, but now the Brahma Bull is facing some setbacks of his own. Not long after Johnson's purchase, there were talks that the new XFL could partner with the Canadian Football League, but that won't be happening. On Twitter, the official CFL account confirmed that there will be no partnership, despite talks about a deal between the two leagues. It was also noted that the CFL is open to working with the XFL in the future if a deal can be struck, but for now, both sides have decided not to pursue further talks. Even before the ongoing situation, the 2020 XFL was showing signs of struggling, as the strong ratings they started with dwindled rapidly within weeks of the league's debut. The People's Champion has gone from success in wrestling to success in Hollywood, but now he'll have to try and succeed with the XFL, without the help of the CFL. More XFL news now, as the league won't be working with the CFL, but it will be kicking off in 2 years' time. This week, it was confirmed that the league will start in the spring of 2023 in a statement given by the league to Sports Business Journal. It reads, "While our discussions with the CFL did not ultimately lead to a collaboration, the effort reinforced our belief and commitment to developing the XFL for international spring football. We look forward to seeing everyone for kickoff in spring of 2023. The Rock and his investors are hoping to change the game of football and will now have an extra year to get things right. And time will tell if he can do with the XFL what Vince McMahon failed to do twice." Earlier this year, Mojo Rawley was released from WWE after going unused for years in the company. There was a time when WWE tried to revamp Rawley's character, which saw him don face paint and cut strange promos to a mirror, but the former 24/7 champion wasn't a fan. Speaking to Insight with Chris Van Vliet, Rawley discussed the face paint gimmick, which only lasted a few weeks, saying, "I was so against that, I really didn't want to do that. But truthfully, the sketches didn't look half bad. I remember thinking, I hope when I wear this it looks this cool. We literally did one match with that character. It was a 60-second match that was written out entirely for us. 2.5 weeks, then it's that, then it's over. I just painted my face like an idiot for nothing. Now out of WWE, Rawley is making a name for himself on the silver screen, appearing in the trailer for the new Snake Eyes G.I. Joe movie. This may be the first of many roles for the former superstar, whose 90-day non-compete clause will also be ending soon, and no matter where he goes next, odds are Rawley won't be painting his face. And we're ending with some sad news as wrestler Chris Youngblood has died aged 55. The son of the legendary Ricky Romero, Youngblood entered the ring at 13 and alongside his brother Mark had success in WCCW, GWF, and the USWA, as well as success in Japan with FMW and All Japan. WWE fans may not know his name, but they'll know his opponents, as Youngblood once feuded with the young Steve Austin in the USWA and faced Rob Van Dam in Japan. Not just a wrestler, Youngblood ran the Romero Academy of Wrestling and Renegade Outlaw Wrestling, and while no cause of death has been confirmed, we're sending our deepest condolences to his wife Krista and their 3 children at this sad time. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.